Hi, this is O'Shea from the House of Israel, Ohio. I just wanted to give an exposition on the video called Knock Knock. I'm going to call it The Breakdown.
Watch the breakdown.
So we're at the sin guilt. Sexual immorality comes in, boom, his finances are tapped. So he continues to look at it. And of course, one of the penalties for sexual immorality is sin guilt. You know, you participate in unlawful sexual acts, you participate in things that is not lawful according to the Torah, and the first thing happens is you have sin guilt. Now, this could be not connected with sexual morality. We could just say that this was a whole separate knock on the door, and he opened the door again, and then bam, sin guilt. Because sin guilt itself doesn't always have to be connected with sexual morality. You could just have a spirit of sin guilt from your past experiences. You haven't forgiven yourself. You haven't accepted the true atonement of Yeshua. You still walk in shame. And so anytime when there's sin guilt present, it takes away your ability to speak. Now, Father wants you to open your mouth. Father wants you to use your voice. Father wants you to transition people via using your mouth. But if your mouth is bound up, your ability to speak is bound up, you lose your effectiveness. Think about it. In Matthew chapter 5, it says he went to the top of the mount and then he opened up his mouth and began to speak. See, when Yeshua sanctified himself, when he consecrated himself, when he put himself in a position where he could be used by Father, he begins to speak. He opens his mouth, and so the power of the gospel is the ability for it to be heard by individuals. Romans says that faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of Elohim. So if you think about it, how can someone be converted? How can the witness of the gospel go forth and be heard if through sin guilt, Hasatan keeps your mouth shut, keep you bound from opening your mouth and sharing that revelation? So sin guilt is huge. Sin guilt brings about that spirit of shame. Sin guilt makes you not be able to function and flow like you should. The spirit of sin guilt right there, binding up his ability to speak. So the first thing was he lost his money. Boom, your finances are tapped. Now you have sin guilt. Could be associated to sexual morality, could be other things, right? After the sin guilt comes worldly thinking. Now, worldly thinking is really a elementary way of saying the carnal mind is active. Your carnal mind is your dominant force. Your carnal activity, your carnal brain, your earthly brain is your dominant force in your life. It's not your spiritual mind. Some scriptures call it your earthly mind. Some scriptures call it your sensual mind. All these words are good. But in 2 Corinthians chapter 4:4, it says, in whom the God of this world, the master of this world, this Elohim of this world, the powers of this world, has blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of Elohim, should shine upon them. It's the worldly thinking, it's the carnal mind that keeps you blind from seeing the gospel. It's the carnal mind that keeps you blind from seeing the truth. You are sold a lie daily by your carnal mind. This carnal mind keeps you blinded to the revelation, insight, and wisdom that's going to cause you to have true breakthrough in the Messiah Yeshua. When the carnal mind is active and your spiritual mind is in subject, when the carnal mind is completely turned up, when your thoughts are out of control and you think like the world, you make your decisions based by the world, you're earthly, you're sensual, your thoughts are not based on the scriptures of Yah, what happens is you are separated from revelation. You're separated from your ability to see the light, the insight, the wisdom, and the knowledge that's going to cause you to have a prosperous life. The carnal mind does not want you to prosper. The carnal mind wants you to go into lack and wants you to go into death. And so think about it. Your thinking, and I'm not talking about positive, happy, positive thought, new age concepts. No, I'm talking about what your heart is focused on. Like the Shema says, what has your heart focused? What has your thought life? When it is scripture centered, principle centered, Torah centered, Yeshua centered, Yah centered, that is when you'll start seeing the revelation. That's when you start getting the wisdom that is necessary so you can change your whole destiny, change your whole situation around. So his eyes are then blinded by worldly thinking. His money's been pulled. He has no voice, right? Now his eyes are blinded And so the thing that's necessary for him to get the revelation to even be set free can't happen because you're thinking too carnal. Have you ever found yourself in a situation and you're like, if I just knew the answer to get out of this situation, if I just knew the wisdom, if I just had the revelation that would change this situation, if I just had the golden egg, the magic bean to change my whole situation, but here it is right in front of your face the whole time, but guess what? You can't see it. The carnal mind keeps you from revelation. The carnal mind keeps you from seeing the things that's going to cause you to be set free. Every time Father sends what is a potential blessing to you, if your thinking is carnal, if your thinking is worldly, like, that ain't for me. And, you start throwing all that negative, you start throwing all the anti-Messiah thought on top of it. There you go. You become blind and you judge individuals based on their attire, based on their external, based on the things that are carnal, based on how many likes and followers they have. You judge individuals based on what the world sees, what the world says is important, versus looking at individuals based on their quality of standard of individual, their spirit, their ruach, their internal gifts. So that's worldly thinking. So these are just some of the principles that you could get from the book called Soul Bondage, released this year. There's other episodes where we break down more of this video called Knock Knock. I couldn't do it all in one session, but we got more to come. All right, shalom.